Welcome, everybody, to the next episode of the GreeneScene Podcast. We're glad to be here today. Got an interesting guest with us. We're going to learn some history about Greene County today. I'm Shelly Brown, your host, and co-host with me today is our editor of the GreeneScene magazine, Bret Moore.
Good morning.
Hi, Bret. Yeah.
Nice to be here on a semi-warm day.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I felt like it was a heat wave when it got up above 20. You know?
So my dog can finally make it to the grass now, occasionally.
Yeah. But my snow has melted just enough in some areas that I can see the little areas that the dog used.
Yeah, and my dog's very thankful for that.
I think this is really strange. We have never, in my lifetime here, I have never seen such a long stretch of under zero.
It's funny you mentioned that. We have a story coming out in the GreeneScene this month on the historic cold snaps and historic snowfalls throughout the history.
Oh, really?
Throughout our history,
Okay.
yes.
So am I right in thinking this is a record, maybe?
It's close.
Okay,
Yes.
yeah.
And we date all the way back to the 1890 blizzard.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, coming up in the GreeneScene then, the next issue. We'll look for that. I'm sure everybody's happy to see perhaps a warming trend coming right now.
I know I am.
For a short period. So I want to introduce today our guest. We're very fortunate to have with us Mr. Andy Shaner, who is the innkeeper at the Denny House. Now, we've talked about the Denny House a time or two in the past, but we're going to learn a little bit more history, and we're going to learn a little bit more about Andy. Welcome to the show, Andy.
Well, thank you. I'm glad to be here. Yeah, my wife and I actually took over running the Denny House 2 years ago now. We really enjoy history, and so this was a natural fit to be able to live in such a beautiful home, share the history with others. We just enjoy every bit of it. So
That's great. You know, we met Leanne once earlier on an earlier episode, and we learned a little bit about her background. Tell us, Andy, what's your background? What makes you qualified to be an innkeeper of the Denny House?
You know, it's honestly my organizational skills. I mean, Leanne does the cooking. She's amazing. She's an Italian, so she knows how to cook. She knows how to please people. For 14 years, we helped run a large camp called the Father and Son Camp. So we are used to serving others. Mm-hmm. And so this was just a natural step. It's a smaller step, but I love to keep things organized. I love to figure out why things need to work the way they do to help people to succeed.
Mm-hmm.
So if they want a wedding, we want to make sure it's the best wedding they can have. If they have a birthday party, I want to find the best way to set the tables up because some people are really picky. So I think my organizational skills and keeping land calm is probably the best thing.
Oh, well, that sounds good. And I know that some people may be picky, but all people are nervous at those kind of things.
Absolutely.
And how nice to be able to hand off that thinking.
They just want somebody else to take care of it
Yes,
the majority
yeah.
of the time, and we're happy to do that.
Yeah, we just walk in and it's all set up, right?
Sure.
All right. Well, we know that the Denny House is an important and popular venue here in town right now. And we've learned a little bit about what's happened to it recently, how it came to be what it is today. But I think some people may be interested in hearing, they've heard of it, most people here in Greene County, but they may not be thoroughly aware of its history. So I take it you are.
Yes, I love giving tours. I've been doing it for 2 years. I've delved into the history of the Denny family itself, the house itself. So the quick of it is the original house was just 4 rooms built in 1836. It's
1836.
1836, so it is 190 years old this year. Okay. I don't have a date on the month, but we're working towards that. But yeah, it'll be 190 years old. Now, that's in the middle of the house. The front and rear portions of the house were built additionally when the Dennys themselves owned it. And that was in 1902 for the front, 3 stories on the front. And then the rear portion was built on in, I believe it was 1976. There's some debate on that number. I've seen a couple different listed. But somewhere around 1976 is when the rear portion, including the full kitchen and everything, and an elevator was put in for the girls as they were aging and just needed to get up and down the stairs easier.
What about the cottage or the carriage house?
The carriage house? Yeah. That is the 3rd carriage house on the property. I don't have an exact date. What I can tell you is the first 2 burned down while the Dennys lived there. So it's somewhere in the neighborhood of between 1890 and 1910. The first one burned down. Josephine said it was hit by a meteor. Now, she would have been a kid at that time, so I don't know what was going on, but the first one burned down. They built a second one on the same location. That one also burned down. No one quite knows why. So Eliezer said, I am not doing this again. This time I'm building it out of brick. So he built it out of brick. It had a dirt floor from what I'm told inside. I know someone had visited during that time before the concrete floor was put in. But it was had 6 stalls in it for their show horses that they took to Madison Square Garden. I mean, it was a well-used item, and it's lasted from at least 1910, maybe a little bit before that.
Wow. Well, you've already mentioned some names, so let's get into that. So you say the original central structure existed before the Denny's purchased the property.
Yeah, there were actually 3 families that had owned the property in that configuration before the Denny's even got there.
Okay.
And then 3 generations of the Denny's have lived there. So the first generation was Meeker and Jane Denny. And they lived in just that square portion that was just uneventful, not very exciting, very simple design. When Eliezer got the house from his father, that's when they did the upgrades. They had the money and the ability to do that. So in 1902, that's when he built the 3 stories on the front and did everything else. It's a Flemish design. It has the tile on the outside, all over it. That's what you see today is that design in 1902. So after he died, and then his wife lived there until she passed away. Now they had 3 daughters. 2 of the daughters did get married, Helen and Mary. Both of their husbands eventually passed on, and they did come back to the house. Josephine never left. She took care of her mother till her mother died. So all 3 of the girls did come back to the house and lived at the house until all of their passings in 72, 81, and finally Josephine in 1992.
That was the 3rd generation.
That was the 3rd generation and the final generation. There were no children from the 2 marriages.
Well, I'm curious, since all the renovation and additions happened in his time.
You say Eliezer is the...
Eliezer was the 2nd generation Denny.
And where did he get his money? You said the funds became available with an update.
The quick of it is, when he was a kid, he went to Waynesburg College for business. He was a bit of a prankster. He took a cow to top of one of the 2 halls. Cows go upstairs, they do not go downstairs.
Oh my
He was
God.
promptly asked to leave Waynesburg College and never come back. So as a punishment, his father sent him to Pittsburgh to the Business Institute. He did earn his business degree. He came back, talked to the local farmers and said, "What do you guys need?" They said, "We can't get nails." Came home, asked his mom, "Can I have enough money to get a railroad car full of nails?" She said, "Sure." He opened a small hardware store directly across from the courthouse. So that was his initial business. Then him and another gentleman actually found the hand pump well systems that would enclose your wells. They found them outside of Greene County, brought those back, sold those to the local farmers, became well known to the local farmers, and then he bought up their oil rights. From then, it was just investments after that. So he was just a wise businessman on what he did. Did well with his money and investments, and then just through that was able to help Waynesburg prosper in so many ways that people don't even know.
Wow, it sounds like it. I mean, the Denny House it's one.
Yeah.
One. A special one, though.
Oh, absolutely.
All right. So then he had the 3 daughters.
Correct.
And tell us just a little bit more about, you mentioned what they did, but they left. None of them had any children?
So Mary was the first daughter. She did get married. She was married to Charles Weaver. They did not have any children. He did eventually pass away. When he did, she came back to the house and lived out her years. Then Josephine, as I said, never got married. She just took care of her mother. She had no interest. I mean, she did her traveling and stuff. All the girls did go overseas to learn music and everything because music was so integral to their family. Everything had to do with music. So they had their travels. She was done with her travels. She came back home and took care of her mother. And then finally, you had Helen, who married Willis Howard. And he... from what I'm told, and again, I'm just going by what I'm told, he actually did cheat on her. And so she left him and came back home. So all 3 of them, they never had children, so they were the last of the generation.
But they lived there then together.
Yes, all 3 of the girls lived there together.
For how long? I mean...
Well, until 92 was like I said, the first girl died in 1971.
Okay.
Or 72, I'm sorry, there's a debate there. Seems like 72 is the prevailing number. The second daughter died in 81, and then Josephine lived there until she finally passed away in 1992 at the age of 99.
That really wasn't that long ago.
No.
I mean, somehow I always think of it, it is historic, no matter what, but I guess that's showing my age.
It's disappointing to think that I could have met her, and I unfortunately just missed out on that opportunity because I just didn't know this area.
Yeah.
And of course, the girls became synonymous with Waynesburg College.
Oh, absolutely.
And Waynesburg University now.
Yeah, all
They
three of them.
redeemed their father's reputation.
That's where I was going with this.
All three of them
It's kind
did
of ironic.
attend. Yeah, all three of them did attend Waynesburg College. All three of them graduated from Waynesburg College in various degrees, from arts to music to violin to just a number of things. And then a couple of them actually earned honorary degrees afterwards, just because of how involved they were in the community and their appreciation to what they did. So money was donated back to Waynesburg College and now the university. They worked with so many different groups on helping children to attend Waynesburg University through philanthropy and everything. So there was just a heavy involvement by all three of them in Waynesburg and helping Waynesburg.
And of course, we have Denny Hall.
It was named after the girls, absolutely, in honor of the girls, absolutely.
The girls. So I take it, I know when Eleazar was gone, the mother stayed alive for quite a while after
Correct.
him.
Correct.
Okay. So did the girls continue his business interests, or how did that
did.
continue?
So as his money kind of started drying up, it was actually Mary that came back with money from her husband, who had a meatpacking business in Chicago. And so his father had started the business. He continued the business. It was a very well-known business in the area. And so when he passed away, she had wealth. So when she came back to the house, she brought that wealth with her to continue on the philanthropy and what they were doing to help, with just obviously everyday the living, but also to do with, helping others. So they continued that on with this money.
In the community.
Correct.
What were some of the organizations or philanthropic activities that they did?
So
Like
we
that
had
word? Philanthropic.
we had Josephine. That was she was actually part of the American Association of University of Women, the Women's Auxiliary of the Greene County Hospital, Waynesburg Women's Club. She helped to acquire the Greene County Poor Farm, which actually ended up becoming the Greene County Historical Museum. So she was involved for 25 years with Greene County Historical Society. She had numerous genealogical and historical societies, and she had national rankings, and I think it was 26 of them. So she was very well known throughout the country, not just in Greene County, but throughout the country for what she had done. Helen was also part of the presidents of the Daughters of the American Colonists. She helped start the local chapter in Greene County for that group, was very well known for that. And so, between the three of them, I don't know that Mary did as much as the other two. She was involved in other things, such as she was the secretary for the Red Cross during World War I. She joined Waynesburg University's Board of Trustees, as her father had.
Okay.
So she was a trustee there, which helped her to influence a lot of the stuff that was happening there as well. So
he was on the board of trustees.
yeah. So the grandfather Meeker he helped start the Waynesburg University Trustees program.
I see.
So we're doing an article on the Denny sisters in the GreeneScene this month, and one of the things I found interesting was their involvement in the early suffrage movement. They were actually among the first women to cast their vote in Greene County in the first election.
Oh, wow.
And they were at the forefront of that movement, and I believe that Josephine was the second woman to cast her vote.
That is, we enjoy learning new stuff all the time. Anytime somebody visits a house, sometimes we'll get somebody to say, I remember coming here and doing Josephine's hair. And I'll be like, tell me more. Yeah. I want to know from your mouth. So that's always fun to learn new stuff.
One of the things I remember in the book that I had written about the history of sports in Greene County is that they were also all members of the Waynesburg College basketball team.
No kidding.
Yes.
Isn't that great?
and in my column this month, that's what I talk about, how women's athletics were very strong at the turn of the century before they kind of faded away in the 20s. And all the Denny girls participated in the Waynesburg College basketball.
Nice.
Yep.
They were definitely standout people.
Yes.
I
Yes.
mean, you've mentioned a lot of what they did and helped found and create. You mentioned something about, of course, they're studying abroad and music being an important part of their lives.
So two of the things in the house that I find very interesting, it shows how their minds went was in their main dining room. If you look on the ceiling, there are 4 pictures painted in kind of the corners of the room, okay? And they are the 4 pillars of education. This was their music room. This is where they had a piano. The girls were all classically trained, some overseas. And so they had that education background there. And then the second thing they did was there's actually a Tiffany window, a beautiful Tiffany window in there that was commissioned specifically for the house. And it is Apollo, the god of music. And it is an absolutely amazing piece that has so far survived. You know, I don't know exactly when it was put in there, but it's just an amazing piece to see when the light hits it. It's stunning. So music was definitely important. So,
well, did they actually perform other places? You know,
well, they did. So Mary actually, you know, she had graduated from Waynesburg University with a degree in music and art. She actually went and studied at the Royal Academy of Music in London. She also studied at the American School of Music in France. So they were going out and doing this. So she became a renowned pianist. She wrote pieces, one of which is called Haven, another of which is called A Dream. I mean, these were pieces that were used in musicals and stuff. I mean, and then she was a composer and a pianist. So her stuff is, I have just different places where she's performed. We have all sorts of information on that. Josephine did teach piano. She actually had a Bachelor of Science degree from Waynesburg University. She went abroad also. She lived overseas in France. She studied French and art history. And then she also taught at a private school in Chicago and Long Island. So she loved teaching as well. So those were important things to her. She ended her teaching career in Waynesburg. Actually, she taught science at the Waynesburg High School from 1936 to 1942. So also very active in that. And then finally, Helen, who has probably the biggest of the 3 careers. She had earned a Bachelor's of Music in Violin in 1918, a Bachelor's of Arts in 1919, and then she did receive a Doctorate of Music in 1939, all from Waynesburg University, Waynesburg College, of course, at the time. She went on to become a singer, a soprano, that anytime I see the reviews are just talking about her control. I mean, she sang in operas around the world. She sang in concerts. She had leading roles in the DeFeo Grand Opera in Baltimore, Maryland when it opened. She was a soloist in the Wassel Lepp Orchestra in Philadelphia. And then she sang at the Wheatcroft Opera Guild in New England. So she was all over the place with her music, very sought after.
Wow.
And she loved to sing. That was just something that was a passion of hers.
That's incredible. I mean, to think that we've had such all in one family, all 3 of them, and so historic to our community.
Sure.
But yet so well known outside of it as well.
And Josephine did give lessons in town to children and stuff, piano lessons.
Yeah.
Very late in her life. We don't know exactly when, but she did that for a very long time. So that was just, again, a passion of hers, was teaching what she called her little lambs. So
her little lambs.
That was her name for her children that she taught. So she was very passionate about giving back. Again, all of them were.
And one other thing, you had mentioned this when we were talking outside of the recording earlier about the building.
Sure.
And how it got added onto and expanded.
Yeah.
But in a very unique way. Now, just tell me about the attic. That's what I want to hear.
Okay. So the main part of the house was 2 stories. And then the front was added on. It became 3 stories. So now you have a story on the front that's by itself. And then in the back, they added on a 3rd story. So you have these 2 ends, but there was no attic in between them. And the only reason we believe this is because the front section, the roof line inside one of the closets that faces the attic is still got the roof line all the way down to the ground. Otherwise, it would have been like a squared walk-in closet because the roof's in there is like 12 feet. So we're fairly certain they built the front. Then later on in like 1976 there when they built the back, they put that on because it's got 2 finished rooms off of that elevator that goes up to it. And at some point, they decided to enclose the middle. We're not sure why, but they went ahead and filled in the middle with an attic that they never used. It had no finished floor. The only thing in there was an electrical panel that was against the wall for that upstairs 3rd floor. So recently, we began putting flooring in there so we can use it because it's a huge, beautiful space.
Wow.
But it was just interesting that they laid that was not thought of at the same time. It was an afterthought, maybe.
I guess they just saw that space and said, we need to do something with it. It's sure been fun having you with us today, Andy.
Absolutely. We love it. So
learning so much about this wonderfully important family to this area and beyond.
Anybody wants to have a tour of the house,
Okay.
that is something we offer for free. We live on the property. We take care of this for the owners. You can contact us through Facebook or at the phone number listed on the website and let us know you'd love to come in for a tour. I will be happy to give you a guided tour, or you're welcome to just wander through the house. As long as we don't have an event going on or someone staying there, because we are a bed and breakfast. So as long as something isn't going on, we love to give the tours. That's something we're passionate about.
Well, that's really cool. Is there a cost to that?
No.
How nice.
Absolutely
Great.
free. We love to answer questions. And again, maybe we may learn something from somebody that comes in that knew something that we didn't know.
True. So, Andy, there's so much that we've talked about, and I'm sure way more than we could.
Sure.
But knowing all of this about these special people, the Denny sisters, let's talk about them for just at the end here. Tell me, what do you think they did so much? What do you think that they have done in our community that has the most lasting and meaningful impact?
That would be an easy one for me. So Josephine helped found the Social Service League.
Yes.
It's still going on till today. When we lived in Mount Morris, we didn't make a lot of money back then, and we were a little down, and the school had put us in connection with the Social Service League to help buy gifts for our children. And so one of the things they did was they had made pillowcases with their names embroidered on it. So we have 4 children, but only 3 of them, somehow it was a mistake, and only 3 of them showed up. So we went out and we made a quick one out of a 4th one. It was a real nice idea. So then we told them about that, and afterwards, and they said, we will take care of that. So they actually made the 4th one for us. Well, just recently we had a formal tea at the place, and one of the girls from the Social Service League that we know very well now, she was there, and we mentioned how Zachary, the one that did not get it and finally did afterwards, how much he loves his pillowcase to this day. So she said, you know what? I'm going to do a little surprise. She actually made him a brand new one just recently, just because she thought it would be neat for him, since his is wearing out and he uses it still to this day from the time he was, for the past 15 years. She thought it would be neat for him to have a brand new one. So she redid one for him and gave him another one recently. So just that, she didn't have to.
The love lives on. Yeah.
Because of who they are. They are still around taking care of children to this day.
Yes, we visited with them earlier. And so it is very impressive. And you're right that it's still impacting people today.
Absolutely.
Wonderful. Well, again, I want to thank you for being here and giving us some of your time. And, we enjoy just having fun with the GreeneScene Podcast, too. Sure. And I think our listeners also look forward to this. We have a little way of closing out each podcast with something you had no idea we were going to ask you about. And Bret's the master of that. This, we call it our lightning round.
Yes, the Greene County lightning round. Okay, you ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
All right. Other than the Denny House, what's the best place to see a ghost in Greene County?
There's 2 choices, but I think one is fairly obvious. It would be the Greene County Historical Museum. Again, a connection directly to the Denny's, but there's a lot of history of when they used to help the women and the orphans. So there's a lot of people that have talked about that place and the activity that goes on there. So I would definitely recommend that as a first choice.
Is there a second choice?
Second choice would be a smaller venue that's called the Huffman House. That is actually, we actually have ownership of that as well. It is right behind the Way building that they are in the process of doing. And something interesting about it is I'd been going in and out of that house looking at it. It's not finished yet. We're working on finishing it, restoring it. And I noticed down in the basement a child's tombstone. It has got a name on it. It's got a date on it. I'd never noticed that for about a month and kind of freaked me out a little bit. And we do know of a group that went in there and talked about a little child that would stand at a railing on the 3rd floor railings and laugh at them. So I don't know if it has a connection, but I find that very interesting and a little freaky when I go in there and see that tombstone.
Okay, I won't be going there. Okay.
More to come in the future.
All right, second question. You mentioned your wife earlier. What's your favorite date night dinner place in the county or area?
Well, up until recently, if it was during the day, if it was for lunch, we would have gone to Kiln the Table. Their food is just fresh, wonderful. We've always enjoyed that. So that that was our lunch dates, definitely. Dinner dates, we actually enjoy, you've caught me off guard with the name, Casa Capri.
Okay.
Absolutely. My wife being Italian, we tried it. And, when they first opened, we didn't have a good experience, but then we decided to go back and absolutely loved everything about it.
Wonderful.
We love the owner. We love the place. We love the girls that work there. So that's our date night. If we're sticking in the Greene County area, that would definitely be our choice.
Great. You mentioned the one restaurant no longer with us. If you could pick one new casual or fast food restaurant to come to the county, which would you choose?
For me, that's an easy one, but it's probably popular. Long John Silver's. I didn't get to have
that.
Yes.
I didn't get to experience the Long John Silver's when it was here. I remember it being here. I know where it was and everything, and I missed that. So the one opening in Washington has been it's gotten a lot of my business. I worked at Long John Silver's, and I will eat there all the time if I have a choice, which is not good for me, I know.
I think I went to that Long John Silver every day in my senior year in high school.
Yeah.
We lived on crumbs for a long time. So
All right, number 4. Which is your favorite fish fry location in the county?
Since we're on the fish.
Ooh. See, that's one I don't know because I haven't gotten to do a lot of fish fries because we're typically busy on a Friday. So when they're
that's
going
true.
on, we typically don't have a lot of opportunity to go out and find them because I would love to do that, but I honestly don't have
We
an
have
answer.
some great
What about
ones in
you?
the county.
You tell me.
Well,
Shelly, do you have a favorite?
I was just going to say maybe we ought to invite our listeners to comment and answer that question because we're going to be enjoying fish fries for the next, through Easter, right? On Fridays?
Yeah, I think
6
we
weeks,
can-
something like that. So I like St. Anne's. It was always convenient to me. I mean, there's so many around.
So many great ones. We can
Yeah.
maybe put up a poll on our social media.
Yeah.
Get that out there.
Yeah. So
And finally, St. Patty's Day is coming up. What is your go-to St. Patrick's Day food and or drink?
Corned beef.
Corned beef.
Corned beef. You got to have the Reuben. Got to have the Reuben. Our world famous
Classic.
Reuben.
classic.
You do have
We're going to have
As-
them at
as
Denny House.
As Pam would say, it's our world famous Reuben. So you can't beat a Reuben sandwich.
All right.
right.
Thanks
Well,
for playing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, we've
Thank
had
you
some
for
fun
having
today.
me.
Yeah, we appreciate your being here. And listeners, I hope you enjoyed learning more. And you can, if you feel like it, just hop on down there or check in advance and make sure they're available and take a tour of the famous Denny House that we're so fortunate to have here in Greene County. Thanks a lot, Andy. And to our listeners, we thank you for joining us today and invite you to stay tuned for the next episode of the GreeneScene Podcast.